An accidental drug overdose took the life of Kevin Snook's son Dan when he was only 19 years old. Today, the Dan Snook charity and the tireless efforts of its supporters raise funds to celebrate Dan's life and help other drug-addicted youth who lose their way. A Boy After the Sea 2 is the second cookbook filled with enticing recipes from our oceans to aid the Dan Snook Foundation Trust. And it is my pleasure to welcome Kevin Snook back to Studio 4 to tell us more. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to be invited back. Thank you, Fanny.
So I guess you've been up to writing another cookbook since I saw you last. What else?
Well, that's really been my motivation. Because of the success of the first cookbook, I was sort of almost coaxed into writing a second one. Various chefs asked me if I do another one, could they be in it, and sort of that kind of scenario. And again, based on the success of the first one, I felt to pull another one out as soon as I could. It would also raise a lot of money for the charity. Since at the moment, it's my best vehicle to raise funds for the charity.
And you're pretty connected to the world's chefs.
Well, I've become more so since the books, but yes, I've always had a good connection with many chefs around.
And I don't mean line cooks.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. And you're a chef yourself. You've been
Yes,
in kitchens since you were, what, 15?
15, yes. Washing dishes at an early age.
Do you miss it? Do you miss catering to the stars? I know you catered for Mick Jagger and
I still do catering and teaching, but sporadic as and when I desire, really.
But not on Mystique.
Not on Mystique anymore, although I could do if I wanted to.
Sure, but when you were there, I mean, somebody called it the cul-de-sac for the rich and famous.
Yeah, there's many celebrities there for sure.
I was wondering the other day about what a jar of Clamato juice would cost on Mystique. I imagine it's not all that cheap.
Probably 2 or 3 times the price, I would think.
But didn't Mick Jagger write the foreword to one of your first cookbooks? Didn't you do a Mystique cookbook?
Yeah, I did a book, A Taste of Mystique, yes.
Are you a Rolling Stones fan, or?
Oh, who isn't?
Okay, let's agree on that.
Yes.
Except I must say, the last Stones concert I went to, I had to put a little cotton in the ears.
Yeah, wow, that's
a little
good.
Loud. Tell me about your kid, your kid Dan. Tell me about him before we get into the recipes.
Well, to sort of sum it up, he had a free spirit. You know, he was just lover of life. He loved nature. He loved the outdoors. He loved cooking. He loved fishing. And just a free-spirited soul, really, that, didn't have any enemies kind of person.
Right.
You know?
And what happened?
He had the opportunity to go out on a commercial fishing boat. And to cut a long story short, his time out there, he was sexually abused while he was on this fishing boat. Just a captain and himself, a small boat, which led him into the world of drugs, which eventually took his life. And
when did you know he was into drugs, or when were you
Probably
worried
about 11 months afterwards when he
drugs?
Told me.
How helpless did you feel?
Very.
And many parents who have been in your shoes.
And I didn't really know the symptoms to look for either.
Right.
You know, you don't think that your kids are going to go down that path.
Sure. And drugs mask.
Yes.
Often the path they're on.
And they lie because through the drugs, and you know, so it's hard to know what's going on in their life, really.
Right. And most parents I've talked to over the years simply don't know where to turn.
No.
How does your foundation aid parents or kids who are in a mess today?
Well, we are working with the Orchard, a recovery centre on Bowen Island, and also with Portage, a very well-established drug rehabilitation location. They've got 5 locations all over Canada, and they've got a good track record.
Okay.
So we're working with both of those, and we've also started up a mentorship program, of which Robert Clark, who I'm sure everybody knows.
From Sea Restaurant?
From Sea Restaurant, of course, has kindly and graciously agreed to be our first mentor, to take on a youth and mentor him through the culinary apprenticeship.
How great, to divert them from their habit or if they're lost.
Exactly.
Because in Dan's case, as I recall, his drug overdose was accidental.
Yes, and I want to make that very clear. It was accidental.
Right.
So there has been media that have written it otherwise. When it first happened, I felt that he may have committed suicide, but upon reflection, and when I ended up with a clear head, I realized, of course, that isn't the case.
Sure.
And, you know.
Who helped you heal? If you ever I don't think you ever completely heal
You don't,
from the loss of a child.
You don't completely heal, really. The books helped me heal. They were my therapy. I mean, the first book especially, I just did a tunnel vision on it for a year and a half,
Sure.
really.
And Boy from the Sea, too, is about more than just great recipes. It's about our seas and what's happening to the seas and sustainable fishing and all of that.
Oh, it's devastating what's going on, really. I don't think most of us, being the public, anywhere near aware of what's happening out there.
What is happening? A few, we'll of course read the cookbook and all of that to get a little more information, but I know your brother, Ray.
Yes.
Who's Royal Marine. Was he a Royal Navy?
Yeah, he was officer in the Royal Navy. Now he's an officer in the Canadian Navy.
Okay.
I'm very proud of it too. And he, through his expertise and knowledge of the oceans, I asked him to write through the whole transition of the book.
Sure.
Apply to the oceans and what's happening out there today.
The unreported fishing, the illegal fishing, the
overfishing,
regulated fishing, the overfishing.
The trawler nets that rape and pillage everything on the bottom of the ocean bed, you know, it just goes on and on and
It's
on.
shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bycatch, the shrimp trawler goes out in the Gulf of Mexico and catches, I read it in here, 35 million juvenile snapper.
I know.
35 million?
Yeah. It's
Juvenile
insane.
red snappers?
And yet we're all sitting back letting it happen. That's the
Sure.
frustrating thing, is it continues to go on.
Very much so. And you know, we look at the Gulf of Mexico and the offshore drilling and what can go wrong there, not just with the fish, but with others. So if you're to define sustainable at some level, what is it? Sustainable fishing, sustainable cooking?
Yeah, sustainable fishing, cooking, using fish that are in season, that aren't endangered or protected. And just, you know, I mean, if you go out fishing or buying fish yourself, just be aware of what you're buying, you know.
And they do have a list, and I think you have one in here.
I do have a list
about which fish are endangered and when to eat what fish and kind of the smoke and mirrors of.
Yeah, so it just keeps people aware. And obviously the list changes all the time, but it gives you a good guideline of what's happening out there.
Do you have a favorite fish?
My favorite fish is halibut.
Is it?
It's a nice, flaky, fleshy fish. It's lovely.
And halibut cheeks.
Yeah. Oh,
how about that?
Now you're talking.
Now, being the great chef that you are, how do you cook halibut? Do you have a secret method? Do you sear it, put it in the oven? What?
I would actually slow cook it in a water bath.
Really?
Yeah.
So
really,
like
really
poaching
slowly.
it?
Yes, poaching it.
Okay, well, we can try that.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the foreword to A Boy After the Sea. Heston Blumenthal, your mentor.
Yes, he's a good friend, and I live in the same village as the world-famous Fat Duck restaurant, which is Heston's baby, I guess. And he's been so helpful all the way along from the very, very start. Because also, I think within the world of kitchens, there's always sort of an underlying drug-drink problem anyway, because it's a hard business to be into every day, you know.
Sure.
Long hours and unsociable hours.
Sure, and a little yelling and screaming. Not always.
No, not always. Oh, no, not at all. But it's there. It's evident. You know it's out there.
It's true. Yeah. Some chefs are quite calm in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
And some,
I'm calm in the kitchen.
Are you?
Yes.
And they say women are better. Female chefs. Don't know if that's true. You've been in more kitchens than I have.
I wouldn't say they were better.
Okay.
They can lose their temper as well.
Okay. We'll come back. A Boy After the Sea, an untold story. Kevin Snook, our guest.